Hey everybody, welcome. It's like I'm feeling like it's old home week here, sort of. But welcome to everybody. Thanks for coming out on a Saturday night to hear me pluck on some strings, but mainly to hear Ketu Oladuwa, who is I don't even know how to describe him. He's an ancient spirit living among us and channeling the ancestors, and you're going to be amazed at the sounds that he creates and the poems that he makes. And I'm just the warm-up act, but I'm glad to be the warm-up act. And before I was having a discussion here earlier before about making announcements in church, but this isn't technically church. It is church. Anyway, please join us, everybody, for a reception after the gig, back that way in the fellowship hall. Everything is spread out there and ready for everybody to come back and have a little time and meet Ketu and my friends from Eastern Massachusetts. And also on a table back there, you will find some books by Ketu and some humble CDs by yours truly. And I planned this so I'm doing like a song or two from each one, so you can't just buy one and get all the songs. So she has one CD for $10, two for $25, and three for $50. And it never works, but I keep trying it. So we will have introductions later on, but I really, really want to welcome my friends, Zoe Krohne, who's right here, who's going to with the voice of an angel, and Willie Sordillo right there on the sax, who has played on a number of my tunes on my albums, and Doug Rich on the bass over there on the fretless bass, which is totally cool. Oh my God. I also want to welcome Mark Kelso right here, who's the producer, a co-producer and recording engineer on the CDs that you can buy back there. Mark, thank you. It's great to have you here, and to all the rest of you, welcome. So, sounding okay? Did I leave out anything? Every Monday morning, heading down out of Allentown to Reading, Pennsylvania and beyond. I take the cut off to Sinking Spring, gonna bypass everything, turn the radio up and now I'm gone. 18 wheels of rubber between me and this 4-lane highway. A sense of purpose is all we lack. I push a pedal to the floor. I don't know where I am anymore. I only know there's no turning back. I'm on the road to nowhere. I got time to sing every song I know. I'm on the road to nowhere. It's the only way to everywhere I go. Looking out into this Pennsylvania sky, when I think of you, it only makes me cry. Above the hills, I see my whole life passing by. I could be out here till I die. Ooh. Oh, there goes the Just keep it going. But it's a strange situation, a road without a destination. We all just come here to pretend. You can take it fast or slow, don't matter which way you go, you come to nothing at the other end. I'm on the road nowhere. I got time to sing every song I know. I'm on the road to nowhere. It's the only way to everywhere I go. Take it, Willie. I guess they ran out of money, so they built this bypass. Funny, ain't that the way it always goes? I guess I'll miss the road to glory, but I got no time to worry, 'cause where I'm going, only the good Lord knows. I'm on the road to nowhere. I got time to sing every song I know. I'm on the road to nowhere. It's the only way everywhere I go. It's the only way everywhere I go. It's the only way everywhere I go. I see what happened. My pick broke. That's okay, I can use this part over here. That song is about an actual road in Pennsylvania. I don't know if any of you are familiar with it or not, but it was, the truckers called it the road to nowhere because it was a bypass that went around Reading, going down from Allentown on 222, but it wasn't quite right because you take the cut off to Sinking Spring, like the song says, and it's a nice 4-lane bypass, and then suddenly it reduces to 2 lanes, and then you're in a residential zone, and you're going by a school and a school zone at 25 miles per hour speed limit, and there's cars parked on both sides, and you're squeezing through there with an 18-wheeler, and then you come out at a traffic light on one of those developed strips with all the shopping plazas and the gas stations and all that stuff. And so the truckers call it the road to nowhere. I was doing this song, it was just over here in Pittsfield a few years ago at a benefit, and in a church, I think it might have been the old First Church there. And I finished it, I got a nice round of applause, and I see a young woman in the back, and she's waving her arms like this. And I said, "Yeah, what is it?" And she hollers out, "They finished it." I said, "No, really?" She said, "Yeah, it goes somewhere now." I said, it goes all the way around, it's 4 lanes the whole way. And so now this poor song is just an historical relic. It doesn't refer to anything. Thank you. What I really need is one of my little more flexible ones, but I'll take this. And if I don't break anything with this. We'll give it a try. Thank you. How many of the rest of you have a guitar pick in your pocket, by the way, just in case something happens with this? Oh, it's in your wallet. Down on the corner, at First and Forever, the angels of destiny gather together. They're eating your bread, drinking up all your wine. All the bread you broke, all the words you spoke, have been burned away in the fire and the smoke by the ones with the guns and their political buns. They got nothing to lose. It's only the truth they can't use. They're all over the national news. Well, if you're looking for sympathy, Don't look at me, I ain't got the time, and my time ain't free. And whatever you said, the whole thing was way out of line. And the poet was right, it is futile to fight in a faraway land with the gods in their spite. All the blood-stained tears raining down through the years. Oh, the stories they told. Oh, the memories they hold. Oh, the lovers out in the cold. Hey, Lord, I hear a train whistle blowing. Yeah, now I hear it coming in slow. Yeah, now I want to go where it's going. Well, you took your possessions, all that you own, and your latest obsessions stored in your phone, and you left them for dead out by the road as a sign for the tourists in town and the neighborhood clown, for the refugee bands with the world in their hands, for the militant minds and the ones left behind. They come drifting along. They know something is wrong. All they got is a prayer and a song. Well, your recent transgressions got you in a bind, and your daily confessions don't ease your mind. It's all stuck in your head, and baby, it's all stuck in mine. And the Jesus you knew, he ain't following you. He's out in the streets where the blessed ones meet, at the minstrel shows on the tenement rows. You're just wasting your time. Life can turn on a dime. All we got is a poem that don't rhyme. Hey, Lord, I hear a train whistle blowing. Yeah, now I hear it coming in slow. Yeah, now I want to go where it's going. Yeah. Down on the corner, at First and Forever, the angels of destiny gather together, gather together, oh, gather together. Thank you, thank you. Gosh, that was embarrassing to drop my pick like that. That's never happened before. No.
You're in a church.
Oh, you mean I was lying? Yeah, you're right. I'm in a church, and the truth is it's happened before. Yes, it has. Yeah. Amen, brother. That is correct. Well, I'm going to invite Zoe to come up and grab a microphone, and Willie to grab his sax. This song, you know, I don't know where this stuff comes from all the time, but this one kind of came from a long time ago, when our son was a senior in high school. I can tell you the year that happened, and I volunteered to chaperone the senior music trip to New York, where they go down and see a couple of shows, and they needed chaperones who know the city, and I know the city. And most of these kids hadn't been before really to do anything much. And so we went down and we went to an afternoon matinee showing of Miss Saigon. Anybody ever see that? Where they have the life-size helicopter comes out and was in blah, 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 blah. And I don't remember a thing about the play, but I remember the helicopter. And then we went out to eat, and then in the evening I took my little group and we went to see Les Mis. For me, it was probably the third or fourth time, and them for the first. And then we met up and drove home. But we went to eat at this little place on Broadway called the Stardust Memories Diner. I don't know if you're familiar with it or not. Yes, all right. I think it's 51st or 52nd Broadway, something like that. And they have the singing waitstaff, all these young people who are trying to break into music theater on Broadway, and they jump up and they balance, they walk across the back of the pews, or the booths. We're in a church. The booth. They don't have pews in this restaurant. They have booths. And they're dancing and singing on the backs of them and everything. And it was pretty special, really. And we climbed back in the van and started back home. And everybody fell asleep. And I was sitting there and looking out the window. And all the stuff we did just started coming back to me in various images. So this little song started to come into my consciousness, and I didn't have anything to write on, so I had to memorize it until we got home. I had these 4 verses, and I thought, well, this is nice, but I need a chorus. Up, ridge. And nothing came, and I said to a couple of people, I have this song, but I don't think it's finished yet, and I played it, and they said, yeah, that's done. It's finished. Just do it. This is that song. You saw a woman dancing in the street last night. She was twirling and twirling in the cold moonlight. She said, this is all I ever wanted to do. Even after you left, she was looking at you. She said, you pray for me, I'll pray for you. You pray for me and I'll pray for you. You pray for me and I'll pray for you. You saw a man on the sidewalk in an army coat. It had gold buttons all the way up to his throat. And he rocked and he swayed and he bowed and he curved. He left his legs in a jungle halfway around the world. He said, you pray for me, I'll pray for you. You pray for me and I'll pray for you. You pray for me and I'll pray for you. Well, there's a diner on Broadway in the middle of New York, where grace is served with a knife and a fork. I said, this is all I ever needed to know. Take, eat, sing your song, pray, then let us go. I say, you pray for me, and I'll pray for you. You pray for me, and I'll pray for you. You pray for me, and I'll pray for you. You know, there are people in this world who don't look like you. They don't walk or talk or act like you do. And their thoughts are born on some distant star. Each one a child of God. Yeah, just like you are. You pray for me, I'll pray for you. You pray for me and I'll pray for you. You pray for me and I, pray for you. Pray for you.
Pray for you.
Pray for you. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you. This was a lifesaver, really. So now I'm going to put it down right here. Got time for a couple more here. This is pretty new. I'm an exile looking for a way back home. I'm a poor boy looking for a life long gone. Remembering the times and the places I've known. Sitting here by the river of Babylon. Well, I don't know how long I've been away. How we got here, I could not say. I only know we keep traveling on. Down this road to the river of Babylon. But we could run away together. Down the highway to the sea. There's a path across the waters. No one knows but the river and me. No one knows but the river and me. Well, I saw Moses walking through the desert, coming down the mountain in his long white shirt. My whole life is a tablet of stone, sinking fast in the river of Babylon. Well, there goes Jesus walking down the street, carrying the world on his calloused feet, making his sad way on his own. He used to live by the river of Babylon. But we could run away together down the highway to the sea. There's a path across the waters no one knows but the river and me. No one knows but the river and me. No one knows but the river and me. Crossing over in the caravan night, dragging the past through the pale moonlight. Harps hung high in the quickening dawn, breaking hard above the river of Babylon. Well, I see angels in the infinite sky. I don't know why they fly so high, but they just keep on circling on. They don't come down to the river of Babylon. We could run away together down the highway to the sea. There's a path across the water no one knows but the river and me. No one knows but the river and me. Thank you. River of Babylon. All right, well, I'm going to do one more, and then we're going to take a short intermission, 10 minutes. Bathrooms back that way. CDs and books are back that way. Haven't touched the food yet. This is one of my more profound commentaries on church and religion. I got to kind of get into it here. Well, my church has a jet plane, makes us feel good. We fly it up to heaven and out to Hollywood. It costs a lot of money and it goes real fast. We got non-stop flights to paradise, not like in the past. I know you must be thinking I'm better off than you. I got them good time gospel prosperity blues. Well, my church has a tour bus painted red, white, and blue. It's got a big American flag and a small cross on it too. We drive that thing from coast to coast. It's always on the road, and the only ones who get to ride are the ones who know the code. I know you must be thinking I'm better off than you. I got them good time gospel prosperity blues. Once I read the Bible, but I didn't like the words. They made me so uncomfortable, I thought it was absurd. I looked around until I found a gospel I preferred. expensive cars and seminars, salvation that's assured. I know you must be thinking, I'm better off than you. I got them good time gospel prosperity blues. All right. My church has a steeple that sticks up through the clouds. It glows in the dark, man, makes us all so proud. We got a jumbotron out front, tells you who we are. And I'll say this, if you're not us, you're not going very far. I know you must be thinking, I'm better off than you. I got them good time gospel prosperity blues. Oh yeah. My church has a parking lot. It's bigger than your state. We pull up in the far right lane and stop at the pearly gate. We got 600,000 spaces and everyone's reserved. You can try to cross the lines if you got the nerve. I know you must be thinking, I'm better off than you. I got them good time gospel prosperity blues. One more verse. My church has a rock band. They always draw a crowd. They only know about 3 chords, but they play them all real loud. And people come from miles around just to jump up and down. And the singer prances back and forth, and he wears a thorny crown. I know you must be thinking, I'm better off than you. I got them good time gospel. Good time gospel, good time gospel, prosperity blues. Good time gospel. That's the end, really. I just don't know how to stop. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thanks.
Good evening, everybody. I'll make this brief. Because the main show is Ketu. You'll be listening to him and shortly. We've been friends for a long time. Omawali Ketu Oladuwa, also known as Ketu to many of us, son of Carrie, husband to Clydia, brother to Debbie, and another Debbie, and quite a few more. Father, elder, griot, friend, poet, word maker, word changer, poet once again, and many other things. I'm introducing Ketu on this mini tour just by naming some of the groups that he's been collectively involved in Fort Wayne, Indiana, which is where he and I met and worked for many years together. You don't know these groups, but just by their name, you'll get a sense of who this man is and with whom he works. He's founder of the Three Rivers Djembe Ensemble, the documentarian of the Indiana-Nicaragua San Rafael Health Project, inspiration and organizer for the Africa Bound Study Tour, bringing 10 young people to Conakry, Guinea for a month and more to study in 2006. He's the lead interviewer for Proven Sustainable Conversations, which you can find online, wonderful conversations with Indigenous and Maroon people. He's a convener of the Young Poets Collective and the Elders Council of the People of African Descent in Fort Wayne. He's the founder of the Three Rivers Institute of African Art and Culture. Sounds like he's 1,000 years old, but he hasn't hit that quite yet. He's the founder of the Root Folks Poet Press. He's the primary voice of Identity Counts Cultural Collective. He's the co-organizer of the Big Apple Jazz Club, and among many other things, chair of the coordinating panel at the Center for Nonviolence in Fort Wayne. So you can see he's a busy guy, continues to be, has a lot of friends, and has really helped move the needle toward good things. in the community that I was a part of for a long time. I read one time that someone said prophecy is not about foretelling the future. It's about speaking about the present and the past with exquisite clarity. And we're about to hear some exquisite clarity from our dear friend Ketu.
Thank you for those applause. Now, give yourself a round of applause. Yeah. It's Saturday night. It's weather out there. And you're here. And we are so thankful for your presence. But I got a problem. I'm old. I'm not ancient, but I'm old. And I can't see. Y'all so far away. Can you come closer? Can you come on down just a little bit closer so we can see you? So we can commune with one another. Thank you. Oh, yeah. You got the spirit I love. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And welcome. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Thank you, Bert. Thank you, Willie. Thank you, Socks. And thank you to each and every one of you, and peace and respect to each and every one of you, and to each and every one of the families that are represented here. To your bloodlines, to your progeny, to your yet unborn. Peace and respect. I offer, or I proclaim that peace and respect to recognize you, but to also put myself in the correct place, in right order. I grew up here in America, probably like most of you. And what I learned is that I'm number one, that I got an ego, that my ego must be stroked. Offering peace and respect puts my ego in check so that I can see you and you can see me. I have nothing to hide. I have everything to reveal. That said, let me begin by opening. in the tradition of my people, people of African descent here in the diaspora, when we begin any work that we honor, we pour libation. And we pour libation to honor the ancestors, to invite them into the space with us, to give them the benefit of our open hearts, and to invite them into full communion with us. We pour a liquid, sometimes gin, sometimes water. I'll be pouring water. I didn't bring gin into the sanctuary, y'all. We pour water into the plant representing the earth so that we can connect. Because people of African descent are an earth-bound, based people. Some of us have our heads in the clouds, but that has more to do with us being products of the West than of the continent. And so, reconnecting to the earth that we come from, we ask you in your blood lineage, your spiritual lineage, your intellectual lineage, to call out the names of those who have come before you, who you want in this space with you tonight, with all of us. So as I pour, please call out their names. Carrie Taylor, John Taylor, Margaret Fisher, Tyrone Foster, Chief James Hawthorne Bay, Dr. Margaret Burroughs, Dr. James Turner, Richard Fisher, Belva Fisher, Ernestine Fisher, Ashe, Brother Malcolm X,
Bayard Rustin,
Dr. King, Fred Hampton, George Jackson, Jane Cortez, Maya Angelou, Aretha, John Coltrane, Miles Davis, Ornette Coleman. Will there be any others? Will there be any others? I say, will there be any others? I say, will there be any others? Will there be any others? Will there be? Ashe. Will there be any others? Thank you. I've only done this once on this 5-stop tour that we are on together. And I did it in Asheville
2 hours, 3 hours ago, 2 hours ago, 4 hours ago. Ooh, time. And so I'm going to do it again. It's an invocation. The invocation is spoken in Yoruba. The Yoruba are people of Southwest Nigeria and Benin, parts of Cote d'Ivoire in West Africa. My name, Omowale Ketu Oladuwa, is from the Yoruba people. I trace my ancestry back to the Yoruba and to the Akan on my mother's side, Yoruba on my father's side. I wish I had memories that I could go directly back to, but I had to get to that lineage through the spiritual route. I had to go and sit with the Babalawo. I had to go and sit with the soothsayer. I had to go and sit with the shaman so that he could tell me who I was. So I offer this as an invocation to call forth all the spirits. Eniandunu edinidoro. Black people stand tall. Eniandunu adidieyo. Rise up, rejoice. Eniandunu mokanyenduro. Keep your minds still. Ashiko and lo jombo. For time is moving on. It hurts me to my heart to see you like this, underworld and underweight, impossible to be with, impossible to leave. I must approach you the way I approach music sometimes, late at night and by myself. Sekou Sundiata, I want to talk about you. There is no love in the universe that does not sing from each of us. Each strong oak, each blade of grass, cycling, circling into descending, ascending, crescendoing spirals. Tendrils in the tender underbelly of wannabe sure lives. Our open and exposed pain, pure, harsh, healing in the fire of sun's gaze, trauma melting in the schooling waters, the waters teaching. We sat together last night talking like we knew one another, like old friends with one another, the other, without pretense, dispelling the tension between our laughter and our figuring out the finance of simple things. Laughter at the shared meal, a toast, the maudlin beauty of another day together. The maudlin beauty of another day together with you. In life patterns, it's patterns of ups and downs, each line spoken, each phrase sung, testifying the empty nest, shared in full emptiness, as we lay together on opposite sides of the bed, deep in the sleep of togetherness, awakened. That poem is for my wife, Lydia. We've been together for 35 years. She's a good woman. She tolerated me for 35 years. She's a good woman. What I do here culminates 7 decades traveling times interstate to interstices, the cracks, those places between cognition and breath where mind rests and life begins and ends. There be dance here at these crossroads, moments jiggling, 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 stretching borders into the apertures, bringing all things life into focus, folks common grounding the root of things. Arising from the unseen inside, the felt and known of never thought, the concrete mystery of life, the Essene's unseen order. From deep desert dust, prophecies of life's ever-living deep I, the deep root of I, the deep root of I, the deep, the deep, the deep, the deep, the deep, 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 the deep root of I, of each one, wandering through chasms of chaos theory to find the self they came forth to be. 7 decades dancing with the demon on the slippery ice of colonized thought. Illusions underbelly, the spiny saguaro's house of many arms. The door opens into the weeping joy, born on the silent wing, birthed in sound, shaped in the free jazz movement of mind space. Shape, 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 shaped in the free jazz movement of mind space. Space, space, space. There is no space between us. We all inhabit the same space. We all live in the same house. We all breathe the same air. We all drink the same water. We are one people, rising out of confusion, rising, rising, to be the best that we can be, to see all that we can see, to walk the streets together, to touch one another, to breathe clean air, clean air to breathe, to breathe, to breathe, to breathe. Woosa. I came in here tonight knowing what I was going to do, thinking I knew what I was going to do. And then I came up here and I sat here and I said, no, this place of never not. This place of never not. That's the title of a work in progress. What I just read was a work in progress. And something said, that's what you have to do. That's what you have to open with. Okay. I'm not arguing with you. 68 years ago, I came through Springfield, Massachusetts, on my way to the Newport Jazz Festival. I was coming to pick up my former roommate from the Air Force, some of my buddies who had been cooks with me at Westover Air Force Base in Chicopee, and my roommate threw a party that night that I got in town, me and my little cousin. At that party, there was a young woman named Carolyn Willis. Carolyn wound up dead that night. Her body was subsequently found in the park across the street from the apartment building where my roommate lived. After her body had been found, my roommate, Walker, his brother, Michael, and Carolyn's fiance were locked up as material witnesses. Myself and some guys from the base combed the community to see if we could get any evidence that would free our friends who we knew didn't have anything to do with Carolyn's murder. Shortly after the police found her body, after her body was found, the police called me down to the station and questioned me for about 12 hours and let me go. I went back out into the community that weekend. That was on a Thursday. I went back out into the community that weekend and continued doing the I Spy. Anybody who knows television from back in the day knows I Spy. There was Bill Cosby and Robert, I can't remember Robert's last. Thank you, Robert Culp. Yes. They were the I Spy twins. And we were playing I Spy, but we were playing serious because we were trying to get our boys out of jail. The police called me back down to the police station on that Monday. They held me for a total of 48 hours, but after 36 hours of coffee, candy, question, I told them that I would tell them whatever they wanted to know as long as they let me go to sleep. That confession that I signed, that they dictated, was what sent me to death row in October of 1966. I tell that story not to evoke sympathy, but to let you know that people do strange things when they're traumatized. I was traumatized and I didn't know I was traumatized. I didn't know that I was out of my mind. I was being logical in the moment. I figured everything in America was what I was told it was in high school. You're innocent until proven guilty. And so, my reasoning under duress was, once they investigate, I would be set free and I would go home. That was the logic in my head. I have since learned that logic is illogical. I have since learned that thinking is the worst thing that I can do. Everything in my gut was telling me what to do. Over the top of the candy and the coffee and all the questions, my gut was telling me what to do, but I couldn't listen. I was listening in my head. I was thinking. My thinking didn't straighten out until the judge said, "And may God have mercy on your soul." It's then and only then that I realized I was not going home. Up until that moment, even after the jury came back with a verdict of guilty, I thought I was going home. I thought, thinking, I was going home. What I subsequently came to understand was that my ancestors were at work. For the first 21 years of my life, I was a nut butt. I was dumb as a rock. I didn't have any sense at all. Everything was emotion. And so I played the emotional card. If you stepped on my foot, we fought. If you looked at me wrong, we fought. I was scared to death. I was scared of people. On death row in November of 1966, my mother visited me. My mother took me in when I was 3 months old. She was 67 years old. I was raised by an elder. I was raised by a woman who was born in 1878. She had Reconstruction behind her. She had Jim Crow behind her. She had the Klan behind her. She understood the lessons that America teaches black people, people who are considered black. She transmitted all of that to me, but I didn't know it. It wasn't a spoken thing. It was, osmosis. It was just being in her company. She visited me on death row and asked me, did I do it? And I said, no, Ma, I didn't do it. And she told me, you're going to be here for 5 years, 2 months, and some days. 5 years, a month, and a few days later, I walked off death row. I'd never cracked a law book. I never looked at a case study. I did absolutely nothing to free myself from death row. My whole purpose after talking to my mother was to find out why I was in the position I was in, who I was, and what did all of that mean? And so I read, and I read, and I read, and I read 500 to 600 books, and every book I read filled up an empty spot in me. There was a television in front of my cell, and I watched the nightly news, and I watched the Vietnam War unfold, and I watched the riots, and I watched the rebellions, and I watched America go up in flames, and I watched the poets. I got familiar with Baraka and Madhubuti, with Carolyn Evans. I got familiar with Nikki Giovanni and Sonia Sanchez. I became familiar with the Black Arts movement, and I began to write, and I began to write, and I began to discover who I was. And when I walked off death row, I was somebody else. There was a transformation. I had been in liminal space. I had been on the borders of something I was not able to touch until I was able to open myself to the universe, to the ancestors, to the people around me. Life is a wonderful proposition if you know you're in it and you're not thinking it, if you're living it. Poetry, this poetry that I do, it's about the sound. It's not about the meaning of the words. The meaning of the words is insignificant. It's the sound that the words make. I'm doing it with music because all those sounds come together. I'm going to stop talking and I'm a poet, because that's what I was invited here to do. Eshu Elegbara at the crossroads. That, do 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 that. Eshu Elegbara at the crossroads, open the way. Come walk with me down throughways to crossroads. There we'll step into dynamic mind, the ineffable change path of unseen silence. Here at the toll booth, confluence communicates. Here, science restating its elliptic fragrance, rivers tasting, toasting, speaking in the tongues of esteemed masters, quickening the pulse of a people's self-perception. Venture beyond petulant scenes, the red, white, and blue of things empire, the dreams of egomaniacal psychosis go beyond thought into the deep mind, the alluvial architecture of planets and bodies, the masonry of stars and black holes, sons from human daughters and their sons reconfigured, kinetic, chemetic, biomagnetic, syncretic, noon. The inclined mind, moon indigo, the moon of the 13th moon, in the deep mean of meaning. Do not take the meaning of these words to be their meaning. Do not take the meaning of these words to be their meaning. Do not take the meaning of these words to be their meaning. There be more to meaning than image magnified mean thought, symbol spewing sleight of tongue. Listen for the light, then hear. See beyond symbolic representation, hinting at the what is, it cannot now nor ever conceive. Time expanding the womb of space, thought, infant sound in the universal mathematic of silence. Wind song, win some, innovating nerve ends. Mama said, boy, you's a nervous something. Meaning, she loved my energy but could do without my attitude. That moving mental energy, innervating mind intelligence, pushing against the wind, thinking a self watching from the watchtower. Watch out, eschew ever minding the crossroads to the river. A la roye I go. Words carry no force in meaning. Meaning cannot be deciphered from mental fabrication, fragmentation, declination. Word as sound reigns sovereign. Here, where vibration sets pain to joy. Here, in the near theater bosom, rest your head on the buxom, be right of all ways. Now valley civilizations, burning nations. Here Robert Johnson at the crossroads, Brer Rabbit strutting through the briar patch, all set gathering Osar's body parts, birthing Heru, warrior conqueror, patrolling Ephra's pathways along diasporic roads. Heru, slayer of Set, in the land of the upright people, holy dancers in the deep south, ring, shout, circles, Gullah Geechees and all other down south upright resistors, African people from midnight Mississippi to the General's Hudson Valley Auburn Sanctuary. Spirit walkers, spirits walking, talking, spirit. Ugrebaye pui mwen, adaroye ago, Baba Eshu, Siona, open the way. Let your motto be resistance, resistance, resistance. No oppressed people have ever secured their liberty without resistance. What kind of resistance you had better make, you must decide by the circumstances that surround you and according to the suggestion of expediency. Henry Highland Garnett, A Call to Rebellion, speech delivered to the National Negro Convention, Buffalo, New York, August 21st, 1843. Sweet for Ronnie. PFC Ronald McCracken, June 4, 1946, September 17, 1966. Killed in Quang Tri Province by fire that wasn't so friendly. Name inscribed on panel 10E, line 109 of the Vietnam Veterans Memorial. And then you were gone. I couldn't stop you that hot summer of 65. Your eyes were in the future, seeing blue and red on the scarlet and gold backdrop. You somehow saw as a way to hone your you there and come back home a man, Marine type. We were dreamers then, Ronnie. Brothers in an out-of-school classroom, life in a trench of gutter choices, no verifiable information. We talked and talked and talked before you left. Talked of things I'd seen in service to the country you was running to. I talked of ache, but couldn't get you to hear or feel their shit talk, crushing spirit and felling the known self. That hot August day, I poured for the boys upstate, but you would not drink. Your mission had begun already, and mumbling drunk could play no part. We were young then, Ronnie, 20 and 19, still boys but moving fast toward uncertainty, not knowing how to be the men we so desperately wanted to become. And we really couldn't see where to begin the journey. So we threw the bones, rolling snake eyes against blank walls and dark alleys. You were always the giggly kid, smile evanescent, flashing across the scarred back of a village with no work. The ground on which we'd grown most of our short lives. We talked and you listened, but your mind was made up and you'd already signed on the dotted line, giving the man your word. You were always the kid who didn't want no trouble. And I couldn't make you see the trouble you was running to in double time. And then, as fast as the bottles emptied, you were gone. A basic training on the way to war. Vietnam drawing you closer to extinction, raging in our nearly empty streets, and the holding cells of our skulls. And then, too simply, you were gone on. That September morning, September 17, 1966. Morning, a year later, I step out of the warm brown pools of a sun's eyes, stare back at myself. Tap dance cracks in rutted pavement, step to a wash of voices, memories on a jagged corner street side, horns blaring, rising in a poised crescendo of flight. A young boy plays at war, riding cracks in the sidewalk. Soldier green surrounds his imagining, armed with a plastic pistol. Blonde haystacks whisper from suburban rot, tenement glum in the black ops stairwell, a Midwest cornfield on a ghetto street, the cracked eye of a low-slung project window. This junction talk on the nightly news, hustler eyes, razor slice the bullshit. I step into the warm brown pool from a son's eyes, stare backward through glaucoma haze, napalm, Vietnam, the blind dull ache of Korea, wedged deep in the hip joint of World War II. My life collateral damage between you and my missing daddy. War and its rumor. And Ronnie's smile gone missing that September morning in Hampden County Jail when no birds sang. I could not stop you. Hampden County Jail, Springfield, in the state of Massachusetts. Summer's edge of musty dark doubt. Indian summer wait and wait. A knot of disbelief choking my vital mind. I see me shuffling shackled between jail cell and courthouse. Pale faces mouthing messages, murderer, 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 bloodlust gathering in black folks' eyes. My brain rides the hot rail, mayhem and torment, body numb, spirit calm. But how can spirit be calm? How can this be my life for a life? Breath knew that you were gone, and I was leaving too. How did I know the what was coming September 16th, 1966? I was there in Quang Tree at the corner, there at the park's edge, catty corner to the Gibbs home, at the crossroad of Abbott and Payne, where Mother Gibbs sat her porch silent, always on the watch for we badass kids, always looking to do mischief in the park, on the block, across from her husband's family store. And we badass kids puffing boo beneath the weeping willow, her sheltering branches touching fences and ground at the park's western border. I was there, Ronnie, and couldn't touch ground. When the shot came, when the lead exploded, shrapnelling your body in a quicksand of fading light. I was there, Ronnie, the day news broke, the day I heard our Mile Square village groan. PFC Ronald McCracken cut down by friendly fire. I was there on the corner with you and me and Milton and George, bathed in the sunlight of your smile as you prepared to set sail to manhood, there telling you not to go. I was there on the hallowed ground, remembering forward the smile of this bright brown boy with grinning white teeth. And I was there too, there in Hampden County Jail, charged with murder, waiting on fear to die, for that lie to be crushed to ground, waiting for my teeth to stop chattering in that cold cell, ice peoples glaring, staring me into the electric chair at the far end of the death house at Walpole, weapon firing coming from one's own sight. I was there there with you and not there. There as me and not there. Like the old Africans say, in both places, here, there, same time, different places, without doubt. No mystery, no magic, no escape from the cell, from that shrapnel. Before sunrise, I knew that you had gone on, knew you were going, and I couldn't stop you from dying. 2013, Memorial Day. It rained today, Ronnie. Cool, soft drops of sky fell on gray streets with that same sarcophagal luster we grew up on, grew up to be man boys, wading in muddy streams of maybe, deep shit pools of ignorance, arrogance inscribed on injustice scrolls, different institutions barking our names. This day, when no stores closed, no schools opened, and the postman didn't come, radios screamed memorial mornings, arrogance as remembrance for the dead men who went off to gone missing in action, never to return except to perhaps remembrance. Gone to forgotten, but for names carved in black granite in the black stone monument in the nation's sarcophagal corridor of war, grieving relatives gone to find their forgotten loves, 47 sets of seasons blinking this day past as we walk different sides of the veil on our way from somewhere we could not see, would not see back then. 47 memory rings, circles of layered years, the gauze curtain between the living and the othered dead. Where I went off to jazz at Newport by way of Springfield, and you'd gone off to soldier in a war from which I'd just returned months before, a point in time and space, a Niagara from which neither of us came home intact. Did I tell you not to go? Or did my gut just scream the warning I do not remember anymore? And 47 summers later, guilt lingers, grieving never ends. Ronnie, tears spring eternal. 47 years of memory loss leave me wandering, yet I remember so clearly the pearl bright of your smile, the dazed anticipation painting your face, your brown eyes sparkling wide, your full heart open, looking for that something new, that adrenaline rush we boys dreamed but never knew. All we badass kids looked and longed for, dreams back then when revolution and war brothered up on global front pages. I couldn't let you go, Ronnie, and even as you left, and when you were gone and I was gone, still I could not let you go. You and me, mourning doves, so different yet alike, our names twinned in a you and me, confined in places of fear and loss, death and its perpetual sorrows. I could not let you go, soldier, and couldn't hate the war no more, couldn't speak bad no more about the brothers fighting the white man's war. I couldn't let you go, Ronnie. Maybe it was because we two held our pain so close, the other could always feel the way of the other's seeing, and knew not to stoke the other's hurt, not to call forth the demon embers hidden in the deep pools of our young eyes. Or maybe it was just the guilt I felt for daring to avoid the fate you ran to, the war that took you, that I rejected and resisted, that war from which I could not stop you from running into. That's a hard one. It's still a hard one. 58 years later, it's still a hard one. It's people who stay with you, who sit with you. Okay, I'm going to try and lighten up. I don't know how to lighten up. Can we do a little on that? Ornette Coleman, free jazz impresario. For my lonely woman. That's the name of this tune. When I first heard it in the 1990s, it stopped me in my tracks. Mistake for the music of my lonely woman, for Ornette Coleman, March 9, 1930 to June 11, 2015. It's when I realized I could make mistakes that I decided I was really on to something. Ornette Coleman. Preface. I am the lonely woman Ornette plays, the one whose haunting pathos and muted joy shout unbroken lines, harmonic movement aching in the rhythmic blood, in the pulsing beauty rasping against a scale of days. One. Funny the little understanding I owned about myself, my life, until I made a really big mistake, or what then I called a mistake, but later overstood as a free jazz blessing, manifesting the highest order, a magnitude far beyond thought, beyond sense, sense as the border of knowing and unknown. And to admit now that I knew then but chose to believe thought, ricocheting in my nearly empty intellect, is a truth-telling outside the confessional. Two. I'd be outside any's hearing, but the dear ones who've been ears listening since my birth, thinking, tortured thoughts arising from the swamp of marketplace, mental space, polluted whisperings. Let no one hear this foolishness, this unsubstantiated text, this bleak whirring as subtext, 7 decades plus days and years, unfolding context, detritus on the cutting floor of detail, a bloody, bladed, skinned back truth seeking human form, the informed, unformed, human form, the informed, unformed, human form, the informed, unformed, an unread script, half-edited, unfinished, unpublished, a tale of too many lives bereft of context, overrunning content, 2 cities spilling guts on broken concrete, alley convenience stores and malls of little mental promise, expecting even less hope or value. These lives have been my own, ones I've watched and walked out of, to find a something ununderstood in mathematic mental space computing as numbered days, felt in the targeted zone of deep core breath, the bliss of bone, the bliss of bone, the hand-warmed touch, systolic, diastolic resonance. 3. This mistake of anger, judgment, and self-reproach have led regret to years spotlighted in the healing, from harsh word and demonic deed instilled, yet in the infirmary recovering, a seen polity as seen, incubator ghettos and science of people lost, grief and unatoned recompense, a misread script of a people's God, unfolding history as final dead deeds and done. 4. But even at this stage, this late stage, I am not done. Although my bones be drier, muscles less toned, ligament less flexible than youth would have it, I am still located, stilled in my breath and warm to touch. 5, how much more than my people, whose epic sufferation and resilience fuel my hours here upon this stage of knowing, here where I've been given sight and sight to recite the story of their prolific body movement through time and space. They're shedding fear, the continuum I can't walk backward into, that obscurity of false insight, night of the nomad, of telling this African story through any eyes but the dear ones, the ancestors who've been my better ears, listening to all these years, and giving me assignments to accept or reject as I saw fit. Freedom from the deep core, free jazz breath of me. I took their hand and walked this land, shedding anger, fear, apprehension, and misappropriated judgment, to find friend at every turn. Color no distinction, for the good and ugly I have known and walked through. Postscript. What then am I to say? But thank you, ancestors. Thank you for this experience, for the mistake of labeling mistake, and for this ornette, this Coleman, This fire burning off the dross of mental ism. Ornette Coleman, who informed me of the form, the content and the context, for the music, for the music, for the music of my lonely woman, 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 for the music, for the music, for the music of my lonely woman. Peace. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you.